What's going on, everybody? This is James Grandmaster Facts Voice, and you're here for another Facts Project review. Today, we are going to be talking about Dork, issue 2, of course, written by Brett Bean, artwork done by Jean-Francois, Beaulieu, and colors done by Nate Piekos. Now, there's not too many indie titles that will have this sort of effect where the collectability of that comic is just as pivotal as the actual readability of a comic, which I feel as though, because of the banner year of 2025, where you saw the big two kind of have these big, huge years in comic book stores, and then out of nowhere, an indie title comes along, and it's like you had no idea that it was going to do this. So when we got to talking about issue 1 back in January, it was an advanced review, and Brett Bean, of course, you know him from I Hate Fairyland, which is like on episode or issue 47 as of right now. And he starts his comic off of an orphan in a fantasy land who is basically tugged apart in a prophetic way between light and dark. A light elf, dark orphan living inside of this world, and everybody is hunting to kill him because the prophecy says that the Dork is going to bring an end to the world. So I talked about issue 1, and of course there are the small happenings of what is Dork, and it's this very violent shield that he carries with one eye that has no regard for human life, or better yet, any life whatsoever. And I talked about the fact that there is goblins, wizards, dwarfs, snargletooths, ice giants, necroids, dragons, everything you would expect from a fantasy. And in this particular issue, you come to find, after the destruction that basically Dork caused, where he beheaded a chicken, and this chicken ghost, the head of this ghost, there's like a cadaver head, is floating around with him. And he is finding a way to basically, okay, if I'm not going to just sit here and just get into these violent escalations of battles every single fucking day, I might as well just climb as high as I can to get away from everything. So all the while he's committing himself to this climb that's happening on this mountain, the chicken is asking him questions about certain things that might be something similar to what an orc or a dwarf has. Like, he's heard that orcs can shoot bolts of lightning out of their eyes, or that dwarfs shoot fire out of their mouth holes. Did you get that power? So he's telling them, no, I've never gotten any of these powers. But the thing is, if we remember from issue 1, when we saw how violent that he could actually get with the whole coordination of the shield, he turns into this wrecking ball of a character. So when he gets up to the top of this mountain, he feels as though, okay, I'm going to be safe when I get up here. But all the while, there's a battle that may have ensued, and plenty of people from the light side of the land and the dark side of the land have completely perished. There's nothing but dead bodies everywhere. Now, one thing that is encompassed in issue 2 is the very first page, and it's a map. And if you are, of course, encompassed into fantasy, usually with good world built fantasies, there's always a map. And the map, of course, like any Game of Thrones, always showcases everything. Now, the lands of Sunderrain, of course, when you look at this, take your time with it, because it's split right down the middle. Because if you understand, it was a one world that was split completely down the middle by like one apocalyptic, earth-shattering divider of this entire land. So you see the screaming trees, witch's brew, the dwarven thunder caves, banshee's blight, the black forest, the southland blows. Now, all of these things you might want to take into accord, that you might see these things later on in a lot of these issues, because the thing is, after the fight that ensued with the beheading of the chicken, word got out that everybody had a chance to see the Dork firsthand. And now the light side of the realm and the dark side of the realm are now looking for him and basically looking to take him out. But first, when he gets to the top of this mountain, he is met by a bunch of kids who look like they have VR helmets on top of their heads. And for the most part, they look innocent, but they're not, because they slice at them and they come to realize that they're time thieves. And every slice of these, I guess these almost crystallized shards that they're basically utilizing as knives, every time that they stab away at them or slice away at them, they're slicing life away from them. So he has to battle a bunch of kids. And of course the shield is bad. So it's almost to the point where he's like, if you got to take these kids out, let's do it. And he don't want to do that. He has a little bit more compassion towards it, even though he's beating the hell out of these kids, which almost reminds me of that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode where they beat the hell out of those kids. It looks almost like in the same effect. But it comes to the point where you're looking at it. It was a setup from jump. These kids are pretty much in some type of spell. This mechanism that basically these helmets have on are causing these kids to basically be an army for someone. And that someone is a Time Lord who is basically responsible for these kids pretty much trying to take out Dork, as everybody is pretty much trying to do so anyway. So when the Time Lord gets involved, you see utmost defeat because they decide to, for the most part, to take him down. As a matter of fact, it took for a while for the chicken's body to show up, and out of nowhere, pretty much got stomped out. You know, all you saw was the chicken's body just like laying in a pile of like dust. But on the outside of that, they actually took down Dork too. But the one thing that they did not foretell was the fact that the chicken, this floating headless ghost, just happened to fly inside of the Time Lord and possess his body. Now, because there was no blood rushing to the brain, in this aspect of possession, he figured out how to control the Time Lord. He pretty much knew everything that the Time Lord knew, and figured out how to reverse the spell. All the while, even reversing that spell, he was able to get those kids back to normal. And for the most part, what they came to find out was that the Time Lord was pretty much collecting lives. Everybody that you saw up on the top of this mountain had already died, probably by those time thieves, those little kids. And he was collecting the life sources, which were pretty much adding years to your life. And then outside of that, when they come to find that out, he was like, oh, well, I can pretty much give you, the chicken's like, I can give you all of this life and you could live for a very, very long time. But the Dork, being somebody of compassion, decides to give all the lives back to the people that have perished on the top of this mountain. And they decide to continue their journey. Now, this being issue 2 and understanding the raise that it's been on a lot of indie titles that are pretty much out there, and the fact that it's now sold out, and this copy that I have behind me is the second printing, to where we're seeing like basically Brett Bean's story that was announced probably like the middle of last year, right? Turns out to be this, once again, wrecking ball of a story. But we will talk more about it in issue 3. If you have a chance to get issue 2, it is going to come as an Image team up with the Invincible characters. So the one that's pretty much out there right now is Alan the Alien and Dork teaming up on the cover. So the Invincible covers are a lot of team ups that are pretty much going to be bouncing around a lot of Image properties in the next month or so, that you're going to see a lot of them out there. Of course, with the collaboration that you see behind me with the Invincible Spider-Man one, that's the one that's pretty much out there right now. But if you do get Dork issue 2, it does come with the variant where it has the Invincible characters included. So if you happen to get that, that's a plus. All right, so we will see you guys here next time for issue 3, and I'll see you next time on the channel.